Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening. My clock says 6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Huggins. Lane.
Here.
Templin.
Here?
Martin. Milburn.
Here.
Maddock.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like Commissioner Martin is absent today, and he did send us an email.
Thank you. Item 3A, approve planning commission agenda. Any changes, corrections, or modifications to make the agenda? Motions?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda's approved. Item 3B, approve the minutes of the planning commission held May 26, 2026. Changes, additions, or corrections to be made to the minutes? Motions?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes for the May 26th meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. That's approved. Item 3C, disclosure of conflicts of interest. Anyone need to disclose anything tonight?
Oh, yeah, I need to excuse myself from item 7C.
Okay. Everyone else okay? Moving to item 3D, disclosure of outside communications regarding commission business. Anything you want to report? Very good. Item 4, members of the public who wish to address the planning commission regarding items not on the agenda may do so at this time. Any presentations for information purposes only, no action will be taken. There's a 4-minute time limit. Anyone like to address the planning commission tonight? Just note for all those people on Facebook out there who want to say something for the planning commission, this is a great time to do it. I invite them to the next meeting. I'll close the call to the public. Item 5A, public hearing. This is a rezoning at 33255 Lexington from R1 to C2.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. What you have is a rezoning application from R1 to C2. It's a kind of sliver of a piece of property. The owner of the property actually has purchased the JT's building in that area there and also the trailer park. They wish to expand the building, which is part of the site plan, the next item on the agenda, but it is actually zoned R1. It's one of these kind of rezoning districts that have probably been around for 40, 50 years, that even though Lexington Avenue has gotten more commercialized over the years, things like that, this tract has not had any revisions, actions, or anything over the last several years, or last many years. And so at this point, they would like to expand that building, and that's what we'll be talking about next in the site plan. But the first step in that process is to get it rezoned appropriately for a commercial district. So I will run through the zoning compatibility factors. It's pretty straightforward, as Lexington Avenue has turned into more of a commercial corridor, but you can see this piece that's how the actual piece looks like when you get the legal description of what was in the application itself. So just character of the neighborhood, as I've kind of alluded to, it's zoned R1, it's commercial corridor. There is a housing development, a trailer park behind it, so that is actually zoned R1. The compatibility zoning for the proposed zoning seems to be in line with everything that we've looked at happening on Lexington Avenue. It's all changing from a mix of uses to heavy commercial. Suitability of the property for which it's been restricted under zoning hasn't been restricted, but there haven't been any applications or any kind of consideration to change it to anything else. Property has been R1 for as long as I can remember, plus looking at the old DeSoto plates that we used to have, it was R1 back in the 50s or 60s when we adopted zoning. Extent in the need, which there is for this use, we do have a lot of commercial property. It's very small, so it's really not going to make a whole lot of difference, but nonetheless, we have to go through the same process if we are rezoning 1,000 acres, the same manner. As far as availability and adequacy of utilities. It has sanitary sewer, water mains, public service accommodations, police, fire, parks. We'll see very little change to this rezoning as far as road network. There'll be no additional curb cuts. Parking will all be on site. And we'll get to some of those issues with the site plan itself. And of course, electricity is available on that location as well. I did jump ahead a little bit. All parking would be required on site. There's going to be no real changes to the street network due to this rezoning. Environmental impacts, don't see that there be any environmental impacts. Once again, it's a quarter acre of property that's being rezoned from R1 to C2. Economic impact, also not going to be a huge impact, but nonetheless, part of the criteria that we look at. Could it detrimentally affect the nearby property? Don't see that any change to a C2 would make a difference. Once again, the Lexington corridor is changing from a mixed use kind of situation that we had 10, 15 years ago to primarily a commercial district. And that's the direction we've been going. It's also what shows up on the comprehensive plan as well. So I don't see any benefits or detrimental issues for nearby properties for this change. So I had mentioned the comprehensive plan and the future land use plan show this area as being a commercial corridor. We've done studies as far as improving the road network to 3 lanes with a center turn lane, which is all to accommodate additional traffic and potential commercial uses in this area. So therefore, recommendation of professional staff is to approve this rezoning request from R1 to C2. So at this point, Mr. Chairman, I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Questions for Brad?
The only thing I had was in G where we talked about the extent, the allowed, uses allowed in the zoning. Last phrase there said the 2 access points to the trailer point should remain.
And they will remain. They will be improved. Yeah, the thing,
Shouldn't say like maybe they will remain,
oh, yeah, I guess,
just,
Well, it's an interesting point, John, because it's actually the kind of thing that's, I'm thinking about too. So this piece of property was previously owned by the same folks that own the trailer, right?
no, they were on separate ownership. The JT's building, the Marquette Therapy, and the trailer park were all under different ownerships. And
So
remember,
this-
Monty Bowers used to own the
This
trailer
sliver
park.
wasn't owned by the folks that own the trailer park.
It was not, but it has now been all purchased by a similar owner.
So was there an easement or some sort of recorded right that gave them access there?
Not that I've seen. It's, the trailer park had been there
I know.
well before it was, I mean, there used to be a lagoon back there. It was part of Johnson County. So the trailer park has preceded the JT's building
They
by,
never had recorded access to the right of way.
probably not.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, because the trailer park's unplatted.
as long as I can remember, it's been down there.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was back there for years.
certainly longer than I've been here. Certainly longer than I've been here, and I've only been here 34 years, so. All right, so, you know, I could, it's obviously gonna come up again when we talk about the site plan, what they're gonna do with it and what sort of dedications there are, but, you know, as far as the rezoning of it goes, I guess the only reason I think it could possibly make an argument of why it ought to stay in R1 is if that's the access that R1 has. We're changing that and making them go across C2 to get access, but, you know, I don't know that's a big enough deal to make it something we need to be worried about in terms of the rezoning of that. It's gonna become an issue, I think, when we talk about it for the site plan. Am I thinking about it wrong?
Is that not something we could cover by going ahead and saying the 2 access points would be grandfathered in, or is that a possibility?
Well, once again, we always have this issue. The
Yeah.
site plan is a separate discussion from just the land use and the rezoning itself. I will say that the site plan does show an improved access point, so it's already been determined through the site plan that they're not going to change that access point, actually be somewhat improved.
I mean, I guess I question the wisdom of perpetuating the trailer park in this, what has become a commercial area. That by that same token, it's there, and, you know, I don't think we can just ignore that, so. But I don't think it's necessarily a rezoning question. I think it's, to me, it's appropriate for C2 zoning for everything else around it.
I'm just looking forward, if there is a private access easement on the plat.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to make sure we've got that covered. Okay? Any other questions for Brad? Thank you, Brad. This is a public hearing. Any members of the public who'd like to be heard on this matter, please approach the podium, give us your name and address. I'm assuming no one online wants to speak up?
Correct, no one online.
I'll close the public hearing. Matters then before the planning commission.
I just have a clarifying question. Is the Up in Arms building right there, is that in existing R1?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so we're allowing the business to operate under R1, I suppose?
Yeah, it was, once again, it's grandfathered in. It's a non-conforming legal use. And I did ask the
Okay.
applicant's engineer if they wanted to just go ahead and rezone that whole piece.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was getting at.
But they chose just to
Okay.
do the one triangular shaped property.
I forgot to ask, you had any calls on this?
No,
Okay. I mean, besides the access issues that the chairman brought up, I think it's in line with, being adjacent to Lexington and follows the future land use plan, so I'd generally be in support of it.
Agree.
Any other comments, motions?
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval to the city council for the planning commission to change the zoning for this 0.25 acres to C2 5 Lexington Avenue.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Templin,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Huggins,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Maddock,
Yes.
Milburn.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 7B, 7A, consider site plan for Lexington Center. Love's Liquor.
okay, thank you, Chairman, as we've kind of jumped ahead, and so we always struggle with a little bit sometimes, want to get to the site plan while we talk about the zoning, but nonetheless, this is the plan for that little piece that was just recommended for rezoning. They're going to expand the building and ultimately, hopefully, if everything goes well, they want to have an expanded liquor store at this location. So the site plan has 5,780 square feet with associated parking. They do meet our parking requirements. They do have some landscaping that they've added on the west side of the building, and we talked about the access point has been improved, or that site plan does show that access way is improved with curbs and gutters and a little bit wider road, so it is a benefit to the residents. I mean, not a huge one because they still have access, but nonetheless, for any kind of fire apparatus or something like that, it's a better point of access for this location as well. Sidewalk already exists along Lexington Avenue. They have access to storm, sanitary sewer, all those things, electricity. Site drains directly into Kill Creek, so stormwater is not an issue. It gets into the creek and is into the Kansas River before any kind of heavy downstream or upstream types of runoff could potentially be an issue. So it's really, once again, pretty straightforward. The only concern that I had was the architectural standards. They did submit a site plan or a elevation. I did request a little bit later that they do some sort of colored rendering so we could see a little bit better. Now they did on the site plan. It does call out the glass areas, the stone areas, the finish. They're going to use ephes, which is kind of like a stucco type of finish on the building. So it meets our standards, but I was a little concerned about the transition from the existing structure to how the new one might look, and didn't get any kind of colored sort of drawings to help confirm or feel a little bit more that this isn't going to be just such a juxtaposed kind of transition between the existing structure and the existing building itself. But if you just look at the building, the new structure itself, it does meet our criteria as far as the types of the glass areas, the colors that they've talked about, the stonework, all those types of things will meet our criteria. The one sort of missing piece is how do you kind of put this newer, modern type structure next to one that was built 20 years ago. And so that's my concern. I don't know if the applicant said the architect was going to be here to answer any questions that the planning commission may have. So
Thank you, Brad. Any
so
questions?
I'll just leave it to that, Mr. Chairman.
Questions for Brad?
I've got, so this site plan, if approved, will not go to the council, or is it
Correct.
scheduled?
It's planning commission decision only.
So we'd be approving it before it's zoned.
Yes, technically.
It's subject to zoning approval.
So our,
Yeah, but if it doesn't, yeah, if you're right, if
our
planning
motion,
commission approves it and the council turns down the rezoning request, then the site plan,
Yeah, motion should
so,
take that. into
so our motion would have to make it subject to the council's approval of the zoning.
yes.
And the filing of the plat, because the access won't be granted until the plat's filed.
That is correct as well. Now, it's, obviously, there's a long-standing access point, so that's not gonna, I mean, if everything got turned down, nothing would change out there. There would still be two access points, and
So they will have a second access for the trailer court while this new access is under construction.
yes, there is. And actually, per our fire code, we've talked about this before, it's 30 units per access. You need to have two when you exceed 30 units. And there's, I think, 15 or 16 trailers back there. So one access point is adequate for that, but they've had historically two access points for as long as I can remember.
Thank you.
Other questions for Brad?
I guess, will the color of the building match the existing building? Is that the intent?
Well, I really can't answer that question particularly well. So I know where this, the applicant has built some other buildings and but they're standalone. They're not trying to attach to anything. So that was my concern. I don't,
That's what I want to make sure it blends in and doesn't just stick out. This looks more like it would be out there by Harps where all those other buildings were, so I don't have a problem with it itself. I just want to make sure that it blends appropriately with the neighboring businesses.
I mean, it sounds like you're wanting to see a color rendering to make sure, so we could we make a motion to, like, say, for instance, approve it with assuming the applicant provides a color drawing that matches, that meets the criteria that satisfies you?
yeah, and that's what I put in my motion is that we
Okay.
have a detailed colored elevation as part of the building permit submittal that we could look at. But once again, that's a planning commission call. Now, once again, the architect's here, and so if you've got any specific questions, if the
You did
chairman
say
wants
the
to
architect is
recognize
here?
him, they can.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to hear from the architect?
Yeah, wouldn't mind. Maybe he's got some color drawings with
You
him.
might.
Fortunately, I do. I got the request on Wednesday, and I was traveling to Detroit Thursday. So, can you have it done by Friday? I'm like, no, I just can't. So we can get colored elevations if that's something you guys want. It just usually takes a week to do. So I just didn't have enough time at the request. So yeah, the colors aren't intended to match. The materials will be different. And the reason we're not matching that roof is because we're going to have a lot of equipment that'll go on the roof. There's just not enough room on the site to put it out. You know, condensers for the coolers and freezers and things. So that's why it's slightly different design. And we're basically building out in front of the existing slightly. So that existing roof will tie into the side of this building. So it should tie together nicely, more like an end camp anchor, if you think of it that way, versus trying to match something that we can't really match exactly. So,
Did you think of putting a gabled roof over the entrance door where it actually ties the building, something that would actually kind of make a transition?
I didn't, just because the way that would transition would be a little more difficult, because you're taking one gable roof, trying another one in, where this one, you got a flat wall that dies into, and you just flash right on top of it. So it's a smoother transition.
Just curious.
But yeah, like, so we did think about a gable roof. It just would cause more issues with where do we put stuff? How do we make it all work? So that's where we came up with the design we did. But yeah, I mean, we call out the colors on the schedule to match existing, even though it's EFS versus the you know, hardy siding and stuff. We just, you know.
Yeah, my problem is I don't know what match existing means, is
The colors to match existing. So
we're matching the color of the rooftop or the
No,
way the
the
building's painted?
the hardy board siding.
Okay.
And we can do hardy board. It's a cheaper material. We'd rather use something like EFS that gives us an R value that, you know, is a little more durable, and so.
Okay. Other questions for the architect?
Okay.
Thank you. Did we get your name for the record? I'm sorry.
Yes. Sorry, David Escove Architecture.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
So, I mean, to me, it looks like JT's is kind of like a stucco, like a beige color with some brick flashing around it. And so you're going to match that, but you're going to basically put flat walls, is what you're saying.
Okay, well, this is not a public hearing, so it matters for the planning commission. What do you think?
The only issue that I had was it says, on letter A of the architectural standards. Where did it go? So says there are several mature trees on site to the south that will remain to provide screening to the trailer park. Going farther down, I believe it's the first picture. That's a drawing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees that said are going to be eliminated, and 3 of those looks like pretty mature trees on the south side. Actually, there's 9 total. So there's 5 of them on the south side that looks like that are going to be coming out. I was just wanting to make sure there was adequate screening left.
Yeah, but, Commissioner, yes, behind the building itself and they did note on the site plan that those trees will be coming out, but there is a fair amount of thick, dense vegetation back there. So, and they're all pretty much volunteer kind of trees, but so it's not going to be a, you know, more ornamental. It's just going to be native trees that have grown up in this area over the course of time. But there will be enough buffering, at least in my opinion. I have gone back there a few times and looked at it. But yeah, you're correct. There are some larger trees that will be removed. And if you prefer, you can make a condition in the site plan approval that some additional trees are planted back there. I don't think that would be
There's one house that's relatively close to that new property line there. I just kind of wanted to make sure that they weren't looking into the back side of the building.
I'd certainly be open to a motion with that type of language, and then they can submit a revised drawing as part of their building package that I'll coordinate with our building department, make sure additional trees are shown in that area or planted.
comment? Anybody else? Well, summarizing, we've heard that some of the architectural details, the colors, for example, would be perhaps, if we approve it, it's subject to approval of city staff as to the adequate color scheme, or do you want to see it again? I guess those are your choices. And then John's comment about the screening, maintain adequate tree coverage to provide some buffer. Any other comments or?
I'm good with staff reviewing it myself, because he's already brought it up first, so I'm sure he will make sure it matched.
Plus, we could blame him if it doesn't look very good. Thinking about a motion?
It's too scrambly, I don't know where to start.
Well, I'll give it a shot. I think we make a motion to approve item 7A contingent upon a resubmittal of the site plan inclusive of colors that match staff's requirements to blend in with the existing building, as well as inclusive of a site plan that addresses any potential
Tree or lack of a.
vegetation shortfalls based on the removal of the 9 trees that we're having to pull to get the building to sit.
I guess with the condition of approval of the rezoning.
Yes.
With the condition of approval for rezoning that is on the city council agenda.
Did you get that, Edgar?
Moved and seconded.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Schultz,
Yes.
Maddox,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Templin,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Huggins. Motion carries.
If anybody's interested, I did look up whether there was any sort of state statute about the proximity to a gun shop for a liquor store. Churches and schools, yes. Gun shops, not a problem. Welcome to Kansas. All we needed is a vape shop in the
There you
middle.
go. Well, you need a pawn shop in there somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be good too. Yeah. Item 7C, Commissioner Milburn is taking his leave.
We're going
Oh,
B.
sorry, 7B, final plat. My bad, jumped ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Final plat for this property just shows the area to be potentially rezoned. And also, I'm glad Commissioner Milburn noted the access easement is now official on the plat itself. So it's pretty straightforward. Once again, it's a quarter acre. It's just squaring off the JT's property and allowing for determination of side yard setbacks, all the things that we'd require for a commercial property, because if it's unplatted, commercial properties need to be platted before they can be issued a building permit.
So I am not opposed to improving the access to that trailer park. I think it's great. I think the fact that we had nothing recorded before, this is a huge step in the right direction. I do have a question, though, as to whether this is wise for us to be doing as a city, as a matter of policy, and that I don't believe we have any other arrangements in town where we have multiple users using a private drive that includes commercial property. At least I can't think of one. And normally, we would require a street dedication for that if you have multiple users using that. Maybe I'm thinking incorrectly of what our policy is. I wouldn't mind making an exception for this because it's an existing use, it's been there, but I think maybe we want to make sure we're not setting a precedent here that would otherwise have separate tracks that are served by a private drive this way. Certainly in terms of different uses like this. It seems troubling to me. I'm thinking of, the developments we're going to have. We're going to have a commercial up front, and then you're going to have residential in the back, or whatever it may be. Normally, you have a dedicated street that would actually give those people right of access as opposed to a private drive left at the whim of the commercial user at the front. That seems to be a problem to me. I'm hoping we have regulations that otherwise would restrict that. but I'm looking at you because I don't know.
Yeah, well, thanks. Of course, in a new construction scenario, this clearly would not be allowed, right? We wouldn't allow this access easement to a property that's behind. I mean, there is the element of it being, having been there since the 50s or 40s.
Right.
However long that was. But then also, if you look at the unplatted, my understanding of the unplatted property just west of this west property line is owned by the trailer park, correct?
That is
So
correct.
that does not require an access easement to get to a public road, and it's been that way for, forever.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, prior to this action, the East Drive was the same way. They had that access.
Yeah.
So your point is well taken.
I just want to make
But
sure
we're
we're
now
not setting a
creating-
precedent here. that
Yeah.
We're not,
I think there's plenty of the grandfathering aspect of it, but I think you're right to point that out. That it wouldn't be something we would allow in a new developed greenfield type scenario. Correct.
that's my soapbox.
Good one.
What else you got? It's up for discussion of the planning commission.
Not that I want to belabor the point, but can you expand on some of the reasons why that's not a good idea? I'm assuming it's because who's maintaining the road, all of the things that come along with.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, the only thing we've been presented with is a dotted line on a plat.
Okay.
It says that there is an access easement there, but in terms of who's maintaining that easement and what rights the parties have, none of those are in the plat. It would typically be some sort of an easement agreement between the parties, which, the city doesn't necessarily deal with, but normally when you have multiple users
Right.
using a right-of-way in this manner, you typically would have a requirement that it be a dedicated street, as opposed to allowing it to proliferate by private drives, because they could fall into disrepair, and who's responsible for it?
Right.
They end up in a fight with all that, and then the city ends up having to take it apart. So, I mean,
Okay.
generally, we don't encourage that. This is an unusual case, and I just want to make sure that we're clear that this is unusual as opposed to, oh yeah, it's not a problem.
To expand, so should we be suggesting some sort of, somebody's got to take care of the baby kind of a line in there?
Well, it's a good question of what is our responsibility? I don't know if that's our job.
Okay.
I mean, I think,
Yeah, I think what we've done, we've established that the single access point, for purposes of public safety and general welfare is sufficient, right? It's not what the historically has been at the property. So the provision of the access easement, I think, meets our kind of, our standard of care for a new development like this, especially since there isn't one now.
yeah, it's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Roger articulated very well the reasons why you don't necessarily want that to proliferate. It usually it's at least the second generation after that's sometimes problematic.
And there's, am I reading this right? There's sewer underneath the current access road? Or does it run along?
That's that force main. It's on the east side.
Okay.
There's a utility easement with the private drive, but it's not.
Okay.
Other
So
comments?
does this have to go to city council for acceptance of easements?
Yes, it does.
Other comments, motions?
Make a motion, we approve the final plat for item 7B Lexington Center, second plat, and move forward the plat to city council for acceptance of.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Maddock,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Huggins, Lane,
Yes.
Templin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now, item 7C. Justin has excused himself. And Brad, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This Melbourne Civil Engineering submitted a revised site plan for the Rio. As you recall, this has been here was here a couple of years ago. Dustin Baker is the developer. He's in the audience tonight. If you have any specific questions for him, he's available. It is the former DeSoto Street Shop. They have done some grading work. They did get a grading permit, hauled in some dirt, smoothed out some sites, cleaned up some things, tore down the old buildings, things like that. And then upon the process of, starting to really get this thing going, that the three buildings that were initially presented were cost prohibitive, especially remember it had covered parking or underground parking under the buildings, which really was a pricey item. So the applicant had come back and revised the plan. The buildings are bigger now. There's the same amount of units, same amount of parking. Everything is really very similar, except the underground parking has been removed. There's still rooftop access to view the river, things like that, but all the parking now is surface parking. So there isn't any, I guess, weather secure areas for auto parking. The number of units, as I mentioned, are the same. The south building, is that correct? It has the elevators to the access points and the ADA apartments that we talked about quite a while ago. And you've got the architectural features. They did a very good job with the renderings. And it's really, pictures worth 1,000 words. So I think it'd be a wonderful upgrade. And from what was there, which was, the former street shop building itself. So it's going to vastly improved. Sidewalk access is in place. So all the things that we typically require in a site plan, which were approved in the previous version, are on this site plan itself. But like I said, the only real difference is the reduction in the number of buildings, even though the two buildings have gotten larger. So the number of units is the same, but all the parking is adequate, landscaping, and it's really a very efficient use of this property itself. So I'll stand for any questions you may have. And once again, the applicant's in the audience tonight.
One thing that popped up in my mind is looking at the final drawing or not the final drawing, but the drawing that shows both buildings. Building 2, the farthest north building. In these buildings, there's apartments in the front half and then in the back half, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I see no access road to the back half of that building in case there was a fire to get a piece of equipment back there.
Well, I guess looking at that, and maybe Dustin, you can address this, but we don't require that every building is based on the size. Because remember, we talked about this with the Beale infrastructure data center, and also Merck, where they had to have a fire access road behind the building. I can confirm that with Cameron if there's some issue with that, but it certainly hasn't come up. And
looking at the drawing of that building, it looks like there's going to be 4 stories. I would think we would want to have something back there so that they could get a piece of equipment in there, because I know we've got the new aerial ladder, but there's no way you can get that over and down. And it's just the years of being on the fire department that kicked that in on me. I see an issue there.
I'm assuming the fire department's seen these?
well, they've seen the initial plan, and the building, the third building was pretty much in the same spot as, I guess, building 2. So there were no comments made about fire access on that other one. So,
But it wasn't 4 stories then, was it? I don't remember.
well, I think the building that, once again, they're the same. There's 3, it's 3 and 3. So really, yeah, it's kind of 3.5 stories, because the first level is a little bit higher because of the grade separation.
Other questions for Brad?
Is that something we can put in, that
I would think, if you want to.
final approval from the fire department for access?
Yeah, it will get evaluated for that with, when they submit for a building permit anyway, but yeah, certainly you could do that.
Well, that's a good point, you know.
May not seem like a big point to the developer, but if you're one of them living in one of those apartments,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
actually-
the developer wants it to be
Yeah.
safe too.
Mr. Chairman,
and these are sprinkled, right?
The applicant would like to address the planning commission. Would like to hear from the applicant?
You would.
If you mind.
Sorry, Dustin, but
Dustin Baker with Alcove Development. So the buildings are fully sprinkled. They're essentially like the residents at Lexington. I mean, is pretty much. I mean, you have access to the same sides of the buildings as residents at Lexington, and the fire department has approved those. So,
We don't have
but
the back- we don't, there's no back road behind those.
no.
no.
You'll probably be all right.
So, but I mean, we're obviously the fire department will have a chance to review them, and we'll do whatever we need to do to be compliant with the fire department.
I think this is a vast improvement over the last one. It just in the context of the underground parking made those kind of weird sight lines where people were potentially walking across the parking lot on elevations. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually think it's probably a better design for that.
We would agree. Yeah, and it should help us with our budgetary constraints too.
You're
But
gonna put basketball goals in the middle. I guess.
we may if we have enough parking.
Good.
As long as the fire department signs off, I'm good.
So am I, it looks nice. I think it'd be a nice addition.
The questions? Matters before the planning commission? Comments? Your chance, Mark.
He's good.
That was-
Charlie, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Motion?
Make a motion to approve item 7C, the revised site plan for the Rio apartment complex, subject to fire department approval, based on, egress and access and all those fun things.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Schultz,
Yes.
Templin,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Huggins. Maddock.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, that concludes our agenda. Thank you. Justin has re-entered the party. Our next meeting is July 28th. Any other business to bring before the planning commission?
I got nothing.
Motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Second?
Seconded, we're adjourned. Thank you.